Welcome. You're still watching Parliament TV, and of course the President has tabled the budget vote for the presidency within the Good Hope Chamber before the National Assembly. Of course, it's been a week of budget votes. Yesterday it was the Parliament from both houses, the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces.
Indeed, an interesting start to the debate there on the presidency. We've seen different political parties debating the president's speech as he tabled that budget vote. But up next, they are on a break currently.
Yes.
And coming up next, my colleague Tsepo speaks to the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. Let's take a look.
You're watching Parliament TV on DSTV channel 408, coming to you live from our studios at Parliament. And joining us in studio today is the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Govender. Now, as one of the key presiding officers of Parliament's second house, he plays a vital role in strengthening the voice of provinces and ensuring that the priorities of communities across South Africa are heard and addressed at a national level. Now, Deputy Chairperson joining us, thank you so much for coming through to Parliament TV.
Thank you so much, Seppo, and greetings to the viewers on Parliament TV, and thank you for inviting me and welcoming me here.
Thank you. Deputy Chair, of course, Parliament TV's mission is to inform and educate. In light of that, can you outline what your responsibilities are in the NCOP?
I think, the role of the NCOP is something that a lot of people don't really understand. And they don't really know how the NCOP can work in their best interest.
Yeah.
Especially when we consider many of the stakeholders out there, the community-based organizations, the role players that are working within communities and experiencing challenges, but they do not know how to access government in order to address those challenges. So when I got into office and in my interaction with communities, I found that many of them didn't understand that. So one of the first things that I'm embarking on is to try and bring information to those role players out there. And I think, Parliament TV is doing an excellent job in that regard, in terms of ensuring that people get to know the different government departments, the different institutions within Parliament that can be of assistance to them. So from the NCOP side, the role players out there, they have access to Parliament via petitions, via communication that they can do directly to us, rather than going through the legal processes. And many of the challenges can be addressed in that way, rather than embarking on legal processes, which can take a long time.
Yes.
And so by writing petitions to Parliament via the NCOP, we will be able to get assistance to them, and get the different government departments to actually respond quicker, because that is part of the work that we are doing in the NCOP. And for me, what is vital, Seppo, is that I want to see people benefiting from government. In many instances, large amounts of money are spent, but people do not feel that benefit. And that is where my focus is.
And with that, Chair, of course, you've spoken comprehensively about the work of the NCOP and how you aim to bring Parliament, basically, and the NCOP closer to the people. What is then your responsibility as the Deputy Chairperson of the Council?
You see, we have different levels of government. Now, what we have found is that the three spheres of government were not working in concert with each other. We found that each department, each level of government was working separately in silos. And in that way, we found that there was duplication of work. There was funds that were being expended, but the outcomes were not there. The people on the ground were not benefiting from it. So one of the first things that we did last year was to have a 3-sphere of government planning session, where we brought the 3 spheres of government together to say, what are you doing out there?
Yeah.
What are your challenges? Now, we don't want to appear to be the police.
Of course.
We want to be there to say, how can we assist? What are the bottlenecks? What are your challenges? And let's see how we can assist you with that. And so from that point of view, we have decided that we need to bring together the 3 spheres of government, coordinate the work so that each of them know exactly what the other is doing,
yes,
so that we then embark on a monitoring role. And that is one of the things that I'm very passionate about in terms of monitoring what government departments are doing, monitoring executive statements, yes, that members of the executive make, and ensure that the benefits of those statements are felt on the ground, especially when one looks at the district development model, which is there as a wonderful guideline in terms of how you can deliver services.
Yes.
So that is something that we will be looking at very, very closely. And I want to ensure that the people at the end of the day must be able to benefit from government services.
And with that, Deputy Chair, of course, during this year's NCOP strategic planning session, you mentioned that the NCOP remains an apex chamber for advancement of development and transformation in South Africa. You further highlighted the importance of the utilization of the 3-sphere planning report as a data resource to inform the oversight work of committees. Could you then please elaborate and expand on how this can assist provinces and municipalities?
Well, what we have done after the 3-sphere planning session, we got a report, we did an executive summary, and then we took that summary to the chairperson of committees to say, Chairperson, there's a summary. You now take it to your chairpersons of the different standing committees and see how the undertakings that were made can now find resonance amongst the people.
Yeah.
So the different portfolio committees will now look at that, and they have already started applying their minds in terms of how they follow that up. Because, Tsepo, we talk about alleviating poverty, job creation.
Yes.
But that cannot happen in a vacuum. Now, one of the things that we are looking at is to follow up on those projects that were started and stalled. Projects that were left incomplete, but yet funds were wasted on them. And so now we are saying, look, let's go back. During our provincial week,
yes,
we asked members of the NCOP to go back to their provinces, identify those stalled projects, and let's get them back on track.
Yeah.
Because once we get those projects going, then there's an opportunity to bring in funding, to establish businesses, to establish industries. That will then lead to creating employment.
Yes.
Because these projects then become enablers to job creation, alleviating poverty.
Yes.
So all of these things will happen only if we have the conditions on the ground to be able to create jobs. Now, many of these projects, like you'll find in some cases, you find millions of rand spent on a road project that was not complete. Now, if that road was built and completed, you'll find that investors will want to get into that area. Whether it is local investors or foreign direct investment, they will come into the country.
Sure.
But if you don't have these enablers in place, then people are not going to be happy about investing in our country. And then we will continue to cry about unemployment, we'll continue to cry about poverty, high crime rate and all that kind of thing. Whereas the enabler is provide the services to to potential investors, and you'll find that you'll address all these other social ills that accompany it.
Now, on the back of that, of course, you're talking about the efficient use of resources, right? And, of course, the Auditor General, in one of her reports, warned that municipal finances are severely troubled. And despite constrained resources, mayors, councils, and municipalities are showing little fiscal discipline. Now, with that, Deputy Chairperson, now that Parliament has held its budget vote debate, of course, what is the NCOP going to do differently this time to monitor spending patterns more closely and help strengthen financial reporting and ensure that every rand is accounted for?
You know, when we work very closely with the Fiscal and Finance Corporation, as well as the AG's office. Now, the difficulty is that the AG reports after the financial year. So the damage, within inverted commas, has been done already. So what we are saying is that our biggest challenge is that resources are not adequately deployed. And the main cause of that is the high levels of fraud and corruption. Now, when I talk about resources, I'm not only talking about money.
Yes.
I'm talking about personnel also. Now, if you don't deploy the right people with the right qualifications, the right experience, you're never going to get the work done. And it'll never get done to the expected level that we want.
Yes.
Now, we want to ensure that you have the right people in the right place in order to get the work done. Now, you can deploy as much money as you want to, but if that's going into a bottomless pit, and people are stealing from there, how are we going to ensure that our people benefit? Now, this is something that we are now saying that has to be done is a skills audit. In every government department, in every municipality, a skills audit to ensure that you have the right people in the right positions. Now, once you have that in place, then if you follow that with the funding, and if that funding is utilized properly, without there being corruption involved in it, then our people will most certainly benefit from taxpayers' money that is due to them by way of services. Now, unfortunately, we find that there are so many different loops that we have to jump through in order to be able to address those systemic issues, in terms of fraud and corruption, maladministration. That is prevalent in all levels of government right now. And it is a major challenge that the NCOP won't be able to fix on its own, but we will engage the different government departments to ensure that we try and get as close as possible to that level of perfection. Because without that, we are going to continue in this downward spiral. And that is something that we cannot afford, because our people need to benefit from their taxpayers' money. Thank you so much, Sepa.
And of course, that was the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Les Govender, talking to us about the work of the NCOP, how close the NCOP is to the provinces, to the municipalities, and ensuring that you get the service delivery that you pay for and that you so much deserve. You're still watching Parliament TV right here on DSTV channel 408, coming to you live from Parliament TV studios, right here in the heart of the precinct. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Thank you very much for watching Parliament TV. That was quite an interesting conversation that Tsepo just had with the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Les Govender. And that brings us close to the end of our show, as we'll be returning to the House, where the debate resumes shortly.
And of course, that is the end for us here in studio. However, you can carry on and watch the debate as it carries on in the House at the Good Hope Chamber. And of course, this is budget vote on the presidency that has just been tabled by the president himself before the National Assembly. So continue watching that. Of course, we have emphasized throughout that it is your money and you should be interested in how the money is allocated and what the representatives that you voted for have to say with regards to this allocation. So, as Shika has said, it is the end for us here in studio.
Indeed, continue watching the show as the debate resumes in the National Assembly, and it will continue tomorrow, where the president is expected to give his reply.
Yes.
And from us here, it's good night.